And hello, everybody. We are continuing our series of interviews with candidates for Spartanburg County Sheriff. Tonight, we are joined by Mr. Andy Clark, a candidate who wants to be sheriff. Mr. Clark, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
All right, we want to jump right in. One of the things we're doing, and those of you who are watching all the candidates are going to notice this, in the interest of fairness, in the interest of not doing gotcha interviews with people who are volunteering for public service like this, we're going to ask the same questions to Mr. Clark we've been asking to every other person who has submitted their name for this office. I hope you're ready to go, Mr. Clark.
I am. Yes,
Let's
sir.
go. Here's this first question. I believe you're going to knock right out of the park because this one's simple. Why do you want to be the sheriff?
So after 23 years of law enforcement experience, I left the sheriff's office early. Most of the retirement age is during my tenure is 25 years. I was able to have some school time built up and use those years to retire early, and took some hits on percentage points, but the culture of the office had changed from where it wasn't when I first started there. So being unhappy and knowing that I could leave, I went ahead and left, and then hearing everything that had come out, I just want to get back. Left some unfinished business and don't want to leave anything half done. So just get back in there, and I believe with my relevant experience and everything, I'm able to get in and from that plateau that the sheriff's office has been in and just pick it up and move it forward.
Yeah, well, let's dig more in on that because you mentioned your experience. Let's talk about this specifically. What qualifies you? I know you're a former employee with the sheriff's office, but let's break down what your qualifications are as sheriff.
So as sheriff, knowledge is a good thing, and knowing a lot of a broad area. So I came up from uniform patrol, went through investigations, property crimes, white collar, and then ended up on the admin side of things. I was on special teams, not only at the sheriff's office, but before the sheriff's office, I worked at the Spartanburg Public Safety Department. So I know what it means to be another first responder, as in firefighter. And also, there I was on the honor guard. So just those special teams, knowing what it takes, from another agency, having that experience as well. And then being an admin for 7 years, 2015, almost 10 years being on the admin side, being over the records management system and learning. There's one of the best things was I was able to get the officers the intangibles. Now pay was above my pay grade, but I was at least able to get them some intangibles to do their jobs a little bit more efficient.
Like what? What sorts of, when you say intangibles, what does that mean?
So intangibles are with the county, you have SIP money, which is money left over in the budget, which we can apply for. So I was able to get a upgraded training room there for the sheriff's office. I know it's silly, upgraded a bathroom there.
I don't think people think clean bathrooms
so,
are silly.
Yes. So, we were in I think, 1960s, 1970s building. So just being able to go in comfort. And then again, adding some other things for like recorded interview rooms from the Axon system, which is our body-worn camera system, being able to get those and ultimately get it going paperless. So on some of our stuff, I was able to, again, get SIPs for that and be able to put in and go paperless for our response to resistance reporting. Also, part of the American Rescue Plan Act, unfortunately, this one fell short of my goal, but the American Rescue Plan Act, the County of Spartanburg got around $62 million, and I wrote a proposal for all employees there at the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office to get some of the money because there was a stipulation in there for essential workers, and ultimately we got $0 from it, and knowing that about $4 million, I think, went to the Pet Resource Center, so that was a little bit, that pets over people wasn't too kindly for me.
And certainly not where you would have spent that money. It sounds
Correct.
like you
Yes,
mentioned you left a little bit early the sheriff's office. Let's break into that a little bit. So think about the current situation at the sheriff's department right now. When you walk in the door, what changes do you need to make specifically?
Getting that morale back, again, and having that open door. It's you're not going to find me on the back dock. You're going to find me in my office or amongst the people. That's one of the biggest things is getting out there. And I don't want to. It's not touring the office because you're not, but you're there to lend a hand. Mm-hmm. And thankfully, with again my experience and knowledge, it being relevant, I can lend that hand. I can help somebody. I can assist them with whatever they're working on. Just having that, building that morale back, and giving those, again, what's free. You can get an exercise program going to live a healthy lifestyle. You can create the Spouses Association again, get that back started. Just that mental health aspect of, hey, let's get you some time management skills. Let's get you some financial management skills, because that leads to the stressors of the job. And that's the last thing I want the officers to do, is stress about their life away from the office whenever they're not in the office. So having that, those free, intangible things, be able to give those officers, and then work on, again, fight for the pay and get that up.
So I heard you mention morale a couple of times there. It sounds like the programs you want to introduce are kind of all geared at that topic. Is it your understanding that morale is low in the sheriff's office right now?
I think it's picked up a little. Sheriff Stevens, I've submitted some of these ideas, especially like to county council. I didn't present them to county council. I presented them to my platform, and sure enough, county council is going to do a job audit, and they're going to do a financial audit. I mentioned drones in the past, bringing technology on, which was in my wheelhouse, and he's talking about drones. So it's hey, they're that forward thinking, I guess.
Yeah, well, and one more thing before I move on to the next question we have for you. What is the Spouses Association? What is that?
The Spouses Association is the partner or spouse of a officer. Basically, they would meet every so often, because they would go through things that, again, some of the officers, we don't necessarily open ourselves up, and some of them understand us a little bit better. So getting that together and having that group and being supportive, so that they know that when they can go home, they can exchange ideas. Hey, this is what's been working. This is what we've done, and also just helping that. Understanding that mental aspect of the officers and the mental health of them.
Since you mentioned the interim sheriff, Sheriff Stevens, one of the things he did almost immediately upon stepping into that office is he said, we're not doing Rolling Thunder anymore. You think that's a good decision?
It's a good idea to suspend it. Again, my platform is the why, so I want to be able to explain why we're doing civil asset forfeitures. Again, it doesn't necessarily have to be started up, or we can take a look at it, see what it is it entailed, and make sure that everything was done legally. I'll be more than happy to open up the books and see why we did things the way we did, and just being transparent in that aspect as well.
Yeah, you mentioned civil asset forfeitures. For people watching, essentially that means let's say you pull over a car in Rolling Thunder, you suspect that there's cash in there that's related to drug activity or something like that. You could seize that cash as part of the investigation. You'd like to move forward with programs that continue doing that sort of thing?
Not necessarily. Again, we have the letter of the law. It's did they violate the letter of the law in that aspect? Federal agencies worked with us during those times. Federal prosecutors. So I would hope that they would at least say something. If they saw that we were doing something wrong.
Okay, so if you do the research, you open the books, you say Rolling Thunder is in compliance with the law as to the best of your knowledge, then it is something you would want to bring back.
Eventually, and again, we have to also look at do we have the manpower to do it, and then also are we making, and I wouldn't say making money off of it, but what cause and effect, again, our actions, cause reactions, are the actions of this good, and again, listening to the people, it's just, hey, we don't think it's right, so, let's listen to the people and see what they have to say.
All right, now this next one is a topic I think we've worked a lot on in the news, and I'm sure you recognize it's come a lot in the news. Sheriffs are constitutional officers who have a tremendous amount of power at the county level. And on a statewide level, there have been numerous instances of abuse of that power. We've seen a lot of our 46 sheriffs in this state indicted over the past couple of decades. What would you say to the people in Spartanburg County about how you would manage that kind of responsibility and ensure that power is not abused?
Again, it's opening the books and being available. Town halls, I think, are one of the best ways, and live streams are the best ways to get out to people. Having a bank of questions that have come in and being on a town hall quarterly would benefit the citizens and the officers. Again, we both have to listen. We're here for the citizens. Those are our customers, and we're here to serve them, and we must take pride in protecting them. I
mean, you would agree, the sheriff, because again, a constitutional officer, it is a position of enormous power at the county level. So you are asking people to entrust you with that kind of power. You are the kind of person that people should trust out of the 9 candidates.
Definitely, yes, and we've learned from, again, the last administration of what goes wrong whenever, you that power is taken advantage of. So again, I want to be held accountable. And again, opening up, this is why we're doing the way we do things, and being able to back it up.
Let me ask you about the town halls, since you just mentioned. You said quarterly. That you'd like to do quarterly.
I would like to do
halls?
quarterly. There's, you can split the county up into 4 zones or regions, and then from there, hold one in each quarter, each zone, annually. So again, you could go up to the northwest area of the county and hold one up there. They would all be free, no charging there. So having that live stream, and then again, having some of the command staff as well there to answer questions. I'm not going to be able to know it all, but I can at least have my span of control and know a lot.
Do you think, I think on the main, Spartanburg County has a positive view of law enforcement and law enforcement officers. Do you think there's a healthy relationship between the public and the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office and its deputies right now?
I think it's been fractured. I do feel that right now they're beginning to heal, and that's one of the biggest things is extending this olive branch and saying, look, I know, please don't hold us for what the past administration had done. Again, the past administration was great in the beginning. Again, nothing taken away from Sheriff Wright when he first started, but again, I think term limits are a big thing as well, and we sort of take blame ourselves for this because again we kept voting him in, and there's some stuff that we didn't know and came to light. So, just the term limits and everything, I think will assist, and again fracturing that, getting back into the community, and they're fighting for us. I know they see that other counties around us and those pay, and we had a great group in front of the county administration, county council last. County council meeting, saying that the sheriff's cut in pay was uncalled for, and again, do your due research and see what's going on around us.
Yeah, since you mentioned it, right after Sheriff Wright resigned, the county council cut the sheriff's salary by more than 50%. I mean, that's a massive cut. I didn't notice any of the candidates who said they were interested in the job suddenly said they wanted out. What was your reaction to learning that the salary, I think it was over $200,000 a year. Now it's about $100,000 a year. I mean, did that change your interest at all?
It did not. Again, ultimately, you're not going to fight county council. That's just we have to work together. If we're going to be the example. Again, being the example for other agencies, not just our own people and our own citizens, but also for the counties around us. Being the example and working with county council and hopefully that they would come together. And, with my experience, again, it's relevant experience, to the job. I've only been gone, 6 months now. And using my experience and maybe getting that pay up and doing a study around other sheriffs saying, hey, look, this one makes, 150, this one makes 190. And look at also the population and everything that we're going to go through.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the second most populous county in the upstate, at the very least. Yeah. So that leads me to the next question here. How would you describe your relationship with county council, the members of county council?
So I've met Mo one time out at one of the events that I was at.
Mo Abusoff,
yes,
one of the council members.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I met him one time, just shook his hand and, was hopefully going to get to work with him. And again, I don't think him being over the public safety committee is right. Again, being an attorney, having that proper check and balance. Again, maybe have him maybe co-chair or maybe somewhere else, and then you have your public safety person. That way there's that check and balance. Hey, the sheriff's office is going to present something, and then that chair can then go to Mo and go, hey, does this sound fair? Mm-hmm. So I think it's unfair right now. I think he needs to be removed from the public safety committee and have somebody else step in. Other than that, I haven't met any of the county council members. I've got an email from DeShields responding to a lady because I was tagged in an email, but I think he took blame himself as well on this last county council that they let the sheriff get a little too too possessive, would you say, over the funds and everything. And again, having that check and balance and those open books will hopefully heal.
Well, speaking of healing, what relationship do you have with the deputies, the men and women who actually work in the sheriff's office? How would you describe that relationship?
Thankfully, it was always jovial. I would support them. That's one of the biggest things is coming up, being a deputy, you respond out to a call, you help that victim. As I grew in the sheriff's office and ultimately in admin and over the records, I was able to help the officers, help all citizens. And it was just, hey, if one of them came to me, I knew that they needed the tools to get the job done. It's funny. you coming from investigations, and then the joy of 2 monitors, and trying to scrounge out monitors, that worked, and trying to help them get the tools, because it's so much easier to do the job when you have 2 monitors. It may sound like something simple, but to people getting those, it's tremendous in helping them out. Just stopping by, and even though they didn't call me, just saying, "Hey, do you need anything?" I was there to help them. I knew my role, and again, as admin, you're more supporting the officers.
Yeah, so let's say, they're voters, these sheriff's office employees. Maybe some of them are watching this interview right now. What do you have to say to them?
Keep your head up. That's the biggest thing is know that I'll fight for you. Know in the past that I've been transparent with you, and know that I tried to get you funds, and that just didn't happen. And I apologize for that. The fight didn't go up high enough, and again, I will fight for them, and I have your back.
Yeah, well, since you mentioned money, that leads. Well, you are really transitioning well to our list of questions. Did you get this list of questions?
I did not, no, sir.
So, what do you know about the sheriff's office budget? What do you think? How do you think it aligns to what that agency actually needs?
So again, we have, I want to know what happens to the overages. You're 40 officers short. Where's that overage at? Where do we need to, focus that possibly? Do we need to allocate it somewhere else for the time being? Is there something that we can allocate it towards to better the officer's response? Again, I'm a big technology guy. I think technology is the future in law enforcement. Again, good old-fashioned police work and new technology. We've done wonders with it. You look at AI and how it's the analytical data that we're able to plug into it and be able to maybe hit the hot spots of what may happen next. City of Spartanburg has a real-time crime center. I'd love to tap into them. Love to network with the other agencies. But as far as the budget goes, yes, it's. I hate that the budget for the helicopter was cut completely out. I think that it needed to be again studied. County council is doing knee-jerk reactions. They without proving a studies behind it. It's the budget definitely will need to be looked at and see where we can allocate some things and possibly again plead and fight. I know this is the only fight that I'll have with county council, hopefully, is to get that officer pay up.
Well, is pay the reason that you're 40 officers short over there? Is that it, or is there more to it than that?
I believe there's more to it. Again, I left because of the culture, and I think some other people left due to the same reason. And it's just, again, you're 40 officers short. You're trying to recruit. You're trying to retain. And it's hard to do that whenever, the pay is much higher and possibly the job may be a little bit easier somewhere else.
Yeah, there's at least a half dozen law enforcement agencies in Spartanburg County alone when you think about it that way. So there is a lot of competition, particularly, and this is not just true of the Spartanburg County Detention Center, but every detention center in the upstate that I'm aware of. The staffing issue is very serious there. Yes. It's very hard to get people in the door, and it's very hard to keep them there. Is that a cultural issue too, or is there something different going on at the detention center?
Again, I think it's that I think was more morale than anything. Talking to some of them, I did work part-time at the detention center, 3.5 years there to try to boost my salary up there towards the end of my tenure there at the sheriff's office. So working with them, listening to them, that's the biggest thing is just listening and seeing what is needed. Again, people don't want to work behind walls 12 hours out of the day, but I applaud those that do it. They do bring a skill set, if they do transfer over, that verbal judo they have to be able to talk people down. Again, I think the staffing shortage is an issue. It's a safety issue there at the jail, not only with the officers, but also with the inmates. They have to be watched. I think there's a record number of inmate deaths, the past couple of years at the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office. So look into that, see what occurred, and then go from there.
What about on the county level, when we talk about crime? What is the number one criminal justice issue in the county that needs to be enforced and dealt with?
I think it's a broad range. From when I last left the office, I think we had a 22% recidivism rate. So again, out of 100 people, 22% or 22 are going to go back into the jail this year. I think the jail's at 1,500 people. It's getting released, just making sure that the jail's not overcrowded, maybe have that home detention program expanded a little. But I think the biggest thing is the adjudication. Let's work with the solicitor's office, make sure that the charges are the the max time is available that they can get. I've again running the campaign. Some of the child sex crimes, I believe some people have gotten slaps on the wrist. So making light of those, just make sure that they're prosecuted properly and that we have all the information. Working with the solicitor's office again, it's on our plate. It's the burden of proof. The arrest doesn't stop whenever we take the person to jail. It's the whole case that we have to do. So we get the case, we make the arrest, and also we got to wait for the adjudication as well. Just building that case up and working with the solicitor's office. I know the fentanyl deaths. Thankfully they've gone down a little, but again, with the way you never know. How people handle things. So with the way the country is today, how are we going to handle, what's to come? I know during COVID, people necessarily weren't getting out and about, and healthcare and mental health, and so they would mask using drugs to because they couldn't afford to go to a doctor, or they couldn't afford the medicine, so they would mask it using other drugs, and unfortunately fell victim to the fentanyl epidemic.
So let's say you win the primary, and then if there's a runoff, let's say you win the runoff, and then let's say you win in November. So you'd have to win 3 elections probably to get this job.
Right.
But let's say you do, and you're sworn into office, and you walk into that new office on day 1. So what do you do first? What's job 1, day 1?
Definitely meet with the command staff. Again, setting goals, setting short-term goals and long-term goals, and looking for the small wins. We want to turn it around quickly. What's the free stuff that we can give the officers? Again, the happy officers, and making them priority number 1. And then supplying the citizens what they need, opening that door, getting that line of communication with them, making sure that they're taken care of as well.
So it's basically day 1 staff meeting, day 2 public hearing or a public meeting, something like that?
Public meetings. Yep, they'll start then, and then just having that that open ticker to take in calls and take in emails and text, and what do they want to see? Again, I'm getting some of this as well from the campaign trail of what people want to see, but definitely day 3 is getting to the officers, making sure talking to each one, and hey, you get your 5 minutes to let me have it, and then let's work through it, and let's lead for the future.
It's risky telling people they got 5 minutes to let you have it in some of these meetings. I don't think I would make that same commitment. When you are on the campaign trail, what are people saying to you? So
I don't want to beat the dead horse, but it's, hey, we want accountability and want transparency. They want to know what's going on within the office, and I think we can supply that to them. It's they're wanting to be protected, and they're wanting to know what we're going to do. And I give them the why. I said, this is why I want to do it. Again, being transparent, and then this is how we're going to do it. We're going to open our books, and if you have you're a victim of a violent crime, or a family member is a victim of a violent crime, and why has the case stalled? And then we'll bring them in and present that. This is why the case stalled. We don't want to charge somebody and not get a conviction. So we may be waiting on another piece of evidence, because the last thing we want to do is go up and have this family member be distraught because the person was acquitted, and then we can't try them again. So having that availability, and then just working with our investigations and working with Uniform Patrol just to make sure that those cases are complete.
Before we go, and by the way, you crushed this list of questions so quickly that
Thank you.
We're coming up. Luckily,
Sorry.
don't worry, I got a ton of questions. Do you think normally when we come to election season, candidates of every kind will tell us this is the most important, most crucial election of all time, right? Is that the case with the Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office? Is this a particularly important moment with that office right now?
Yes, and any local election is important. I think Spartanburg County Council Seat 3, District 3 is up as well. So these are important. Your local elections are going to affect you quicker. Again, you're choosing the leader who's going to lead the office, who ultimately are going to protect you and your family. So this is a very important election. You want to make sure that you do your research, you choose the right person. The biggest thing I can say is put God first. That's what I do. And then, ask Him where to guide me, where to lead me. Please place me in places that I need to be and I need to learn from. So pray for the officers there in the office, and pray for those that are running for candidate for sheriff as well. That's pretty much it. Yeah, local elections.
Yeah, well, they are. We in the news department, I can promise you, we agree completely on the importance of local elections. It's our bread and butter as well. We only have a little bit of time left, so I want to give it to you. Speak directly to voters right now. You've got. If I give you 60 seconds, let's hear your best pitch for why Andy Clark should be the sheriff of Spartanburg County.
So again, I'm coming to you. I'm for the people, not only the officers, but again, the people. Having that open door, having these humongous ears to listen with, that helps. But being out in the community, I was the first one to announce. I hit the trail. I had a plan. The plan's going great. And I want to talk to everybody. I know it's going to be hard. I was a 365, 24/7, officer whenever I left the office, and I know what it takes. Again, I have that relevant experience, and I'm here for you. I am the public servant. You are who I serve. So when you go to the polls, please, Andy Clark for Spartanburg County Sheriff.
All right, that is Andy Clark, a former Spartanburg County deputy, Spartanburg Public Safety as well, longtime law enforcement officer, and he is a candidate for your Spartanburg County Sheriff, asking for your vote here today. We appreciate you coming and taking these questions for us, Mr. Clark.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.